Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Armageddon. Today we're going to be featuring a Brawl deck with Syr Carah the Bold as our commander as part of our series of Brawl videos featuring commanders from Throne of Eldraine. Syr Carah is part of a cycle of legendary knights at Uncommon. Now she is admittedly below rate, being a 3/3 for 5 mana, and she doesn't usually have an immediate impact most of the time unless you can give her haste. While I don't think Syr Carah is the most powerful commander, I still wanted to try and build a deck around her anyway to show off all of the commanders from Throne of Eldraine. Syr Carah has a triggered ability that says whenever Syr Carah or an instant or sorcery deals damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. She also has an activated ability to tap and deal 1 damage to any target, which means that she can trigger her own triggered ability. And her ability also triggers if she hits the opponent when she attacks. Now, it is important to note that Syr Carah's ability to get card advantage only triggers when either she, an instant, or sorcery damage a player. It doesn't trigger if other creatures or planeswalkers deal damage of any kind to a player. So that means you need to run a lot of instants and sorceries that deal damage to any target. Now with all of those instants and sorceries, you could consider running creatures that deal damage to the opponent when you cast non-creature spells, but I have chosen to run no such creatures because they don't synergize with our commander. I've split up the deck into different categories, so let's take a look at them, starting with ways to accelerate our mana. After all, the sooner we get Syr Carah into play, the better. We also want to ramp in order to cast the spells we exile with Syr Carah's ability. So we're playing all of the 2-mana ramp artifacts on Arena: Arcane Signet, Cold Steel Heart, Guardian Idol, Mind Stone, the Iron Crag, and the new Ruby Medallion and Solar Transformer from Modern Horizons 3. At 3 mana, Birgi, God of Storytelling, adds a red mana every time we cast a spell, and late in the game, if we don't need her for mana acceleration, we can play Birgi as Harnfell, Horn of Bounty for card advantage. Vial of Galadriel can draw us an additional card whenever we draw a card while empty-handed. The Celestis can gain us life and provide card selection, while Worn Powerstone adds 2 mana. Next, we have our instants and sorceries that deal damage to any target. At 1 mana, the classic Lightning Bolt deals 3 damage, while Melt Through, Pillar of Flame, Play with Fire, Ranger's Firebrand, and a Shock all deal 2 damage, and some of them have additional effects. At 2 mana, Electrostatic Blast deals 2 damage and gives us a boon that provides card advantage. Incendiary Flow can exile a creature. Lightning Strike can be played at instant speed, and Royal Eruption can be kicked to deal 5 damage instead of 3. There's also the Adventure Stomp on Bonecrusher Giant to deal 2 damage to any target, and then the giant can be played as a creature that can be a good blocker or attacker. We have lots of instants and sorceries that deal damage to any target at 3 mana. The damage from Arc Lightning and Magic Missile can be divided among up to 3 different targets, while Brimstone Volley can deal 5 damage if a creature died the turn you cast it. Calling a Professional makes it so that damage can't be prevented that turn. Fateful End lets you scry. Igneous Inspiration loots, and then Open Fire, and in our deck, Volt Charge and Fiery Temper are vanilla burn spells. Skewer the Critics can be cast for 1 mana. Slaying Fire deals 4 damage, and Urza's Rage can be kicked to deal 10 damage. We only have 1 wizard in the deck, so we'll rarely get the discount on Wizard's Lightning. Collective Defiance is a mobile spell, and we can choose more than 1 mode if we pay the escalate cost, and at 5 mana, Sarkhan's Dragonfire provides card advantage. Next, we have several spells that deal damage to each creature. We're only playing spells that deal 2 damage at most in order not to kill our own commander. At 1 mana, End the Festivities and Tectonic Hazard deal 1 damage to the opponent and to all of their creatures, and then Cinderclasm at 2 mana can be kicked to deal 2 damage to each creature. All of our spells at 3 mana that deal 2 damage to each creature can be cast at instant speed, except for Into the Fire and the new Wildfire Howl from Bloomburrow. Into the Fire can also let us exchange our hand, while Wildfire Howl can deal 1 additional damage to any target if we let the opponent draw a card. Our other spells in this category mostly have restrictions on which type of creatures they damage, except for Flame Sweep and Volcanic Fallout, the latter of which also cannot be countered and also deals damage to each player, triggering Syr Carah if she is in play. Next, we have ways of increasing how much damage Syr Carah or our instants and sorceries deal. We are playing with fire with some of these, because if we cast one of our sweepers with one or more of these in play, we might kill Syr Carah, but it is still worth playing them for the benefit they provide to Syr Carah's activated ability and to our single target instants and sorceries. The new Artist's Talent from Bloomburrow is a class enchantment that provides additional benefits as we level it up. To start with, it can rummage whenever we cast a non-creature spell. At level 2, it discounts our non-creature spells, and at level 3, increases how much non-combat damage our sources deal to the opponent or to their permanents by 2. Insult makes it so that damage can't be prevented and doubles the damage of other sources we control until end of turn, and can be cast as Injury out of the graveyard to damage both a creature and either the opponent or a planeswalker. Mechanized Warfare increases the damage our red sources deal by 1. Soulfiend Mayhem Dominus doubles how much non-combat damage Syr Carah or our spells do to the opponent and to their permanents, and can also become indestructible. Torbrand Thane of Red Fell increases the damage we deal by 2. Fiery Emancipation triples how much damage we deal, while Angrass Marauders doubles how much damage we deal. Our final category consists mostly of effects that provide card advantage, or in the case of Swift Foot Boots, protection for Syr Carah. Flame Channeler transforms into embodiment of flame when we deal damage with a spell, and gets flame counters, which we can remove to exile cards from our library, which we can play until end of turn. Light Up the Stage can be cast for 1 mana if we have already dealt damage to the opponent. Virtue of Courage can be cast for its adventure, Embereth Blaze, to deal 2 damage to any target, and then comes down as an enchantment that provides card advantage whenever we deal non-combat damage to the opponent. Finally, Arcane Bombardment exiles an instant or sorcery at random from our graveyard, and allows us to cast it for free when we cast our first instant or sorcery each turn, and can quickly get out of hand if the opponent can't remove it. Our mana base consists mostly of basic mountains, as well as Fabled Passage and Prismatic Vista to search them up and thin out the deck. Den of the Bugbear is a creature land that when it attacks creates goblin tokens that enter tapped and attacking. Gate to Tumbledown can seek a non-land card late in the game if we have nothing else to do. Mines of Moria can exile cards from our graveyard to create treasure tokens, while Sokenzin Crucible of Defiance can be channeled to create 2 1/1 spirit creature tokens with haste. Blast Zone can help us deal with permanents we can't otherwise remove, while Plaza of Heroes and Tyrite Sanctum can protect Syr Carah or another key creature. So that's our Syr Carah deck. Now it's time to take it into the queue and play some games.
On the draw, 4 lands is a lot. I do like having some ramp. And we've got Electrostatic Blast for removal, or to trigger Syr Carah. We're facing Aurelia, the Law Above, so opponent probably going wide to get the benefit of Aurelia's abilities that trigger whenever a player attacks with 3 or more creatures or 5 or more creatures, which we most certainly won't be doing as we have very few creatures in the deck. I think we probably want at least another piece of interaction, since I'm assuming opponent is going to be playing a fair number of creatures. And probably in white-red, they shouldn't be too big, so our spell should be able to get them. So I think we'll take a mulligan here. Okay, only 2 lands. Mechanized Warfare is nice. Skewer the Critics. Vampire's Vengeance could be good. So I think I'll take a risk and keep this. Only 2 lands. Could be punishing. We also have Flame Channeler, which hopefully will provide some card advantage, but we draw the 3rd land right away, so that was good. No ramp, but you can't have everything. The opponent plays Life Creed Duo on 2. That dies to Vampire's Vengeance. On the other hand, so does Flame Channeler until we transform it. We drew another land. So we're going to want to transform Flame Channeler before we cast Vampire's Vengeance. So we can do that with Skewer the Critics. Monastery Swift Spear. Opponent does not attack and holds back Life Creed Duo and Swift Spear. And I can target anything with a spell that deals damage to transform the Flame Channeler. So it's possible opponent has a pump spell to get Monastery Swift Spear to higher than 3 toughness. Skewer the Critics is sorcery. I could play Mechanized Warfare, since that only deals extra damage to the opponents or their permanents. So Vampire's Vengeance will still only do 2 damage to Flame Channeler. Opponent ramps with Magnifying Glass. The Swift Spear attacks. We're not going to block. Fiery Cannonade. And I think we cast Skewer the Critics before going to combat, in case opponent has a combat trick that they're going to use to ambush the Flame Channeler with Life Creed Duo. Arena holding up Blast Zone for some reason. Although I don't have any spells I can cast for 1 red mana, so I guess that's fine. Alright, so Embodiment of Flame has transformed. Aurelia. They don't attack with Swift Spear, which is a bit surprising. Alright, so Mechanized Warfare only increases the amount of damage our red sources deal by 1. So Fire Cannonade or Vampire's Vengeance won't be enough to kill Aurelia. Sarkhan's Dragonfire will, however, since it deals 4 damage instead of 3. And I have to cast it first main to get rid of Aurelia if I want to attack with my Embodiment of Flame. And then we look at the top 5 cards of our library, reveal a red card from among them, and put it into our hand. I think we take Royal Eruption, since we might be able to reach the point where we can kick it. And it's only 2 mana, so it's easier to cast. And we might be able to cast it once we get Syr Carah out. At the same time to get some card advantage. Although, of course, the turn we play Syr Carah, we're going to be pretty much tapped out. So dealing damage with an instant or sorcery isn't going to do us any good. Opponent plays Aven Gagglemaster. Now they attack with Swift Spear. Alright, so I could play Syr Carah and take 4 from Gagglemaster. Gagglemaster, neither a vampire nor a pirate. I think these can be played at instant speed, but I think we'll play Vampire's Vengeance now. So I can attack with Embodiment of Flame. So I can tick up Blast Zone to 2 charge counters, or cast Lightning Strike, or for that matter, Fiery Cannonade. Opponent plays Guardian of the Great Door. We'll Lightning Strike that in return. Mind Stone. So I can play Mind Stone and Syr Carah. And then we can also kick Royal Eruption. Opponent has the Ossification for Syr Carah. Since we don't have enchantment removal in mono red, we're going to put Syr Carah back into the command zone. And then we can recast Syr Carah. Opponent doesn't have any other plays. We draw a Lightning Bolt. So we'll attack with Embodiment of Flame, deal 4 damage, courtesy of Mechanized Warfare, and replay Syr Carah. Alright, opponent plays Sarpedium Simulacrum, which deals with Syr Carah again, although that pretty much taps opponent out. Alright, we have our land. And then we can kick Royal Eruption to deal, it'll be 6 damage with Mechanized Warfare. So that's what we're going to do. Alright. So even though opponents had answers for Syr Carah, we still got the job done. On we go. Okay, on the play, only 2 lands. But we have Shock and Play with Fire for opponents' early creatures, and then Fiery Cannonade and Wild Fire Howl as sweepers. Love to get a Torbran or Mechanized Warfare. And then Insult to Injury is a lot better if we have a lot more mana, and then we can take advantage of casting Insult by doubling the damage it deals. I think we'll try this and hope to draw lands. We'll save Shock and Play with Fire for early creatures. Opponent plays Forest turn 1, no turn 1 play. Alright, we draw land 3, that's great. Opponent ramps with Explore. Plays an extra land. Alright, Lightning Bolt, that's pretty useful, because that gives us a way to kill Tovolar. We don't have any ways of increasing the damage we deal, so our other 1-mana spells won't do the trick, nor will Fiery Cannonade. And then Wildfire Howl can deal 3 damage to Tovolar, but we have to give the opponent a card. Alright, opponent hits their 4th land, plays Tovolar. So they could have some way of protecting Tovolar, but we'll try Lightning Bolt. Yep, they have Tamiyo safekeeping. Alright, another land is good. And then we would have to use either both Play with Fire and Shock. Or Wildfire Howl. I think we go with Wildfire Howl for if opponent plays more creatures. Now, if they hit a land, they can replay Tovolar. Plays Immerwolf and Faithless Looting. Immerwolf has Intimidate, so it can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and red or green creatures. Now Syr Carah is red. Then also pumps wolves or werewolves. And then once werewolves, the human werewolf transforms into the werewolf half. They don't transform back. We'll try Shock. Alright. Igneous Inspiration. It's a sorcery. It does switch to night because I didn't cast the spell, so I should have considered playing Play with Fire as a way of scrying. And then Cruin Outlaw is still human because it's the old Innistrad werewolf transformation versus the day to night cycle from Crimson Vow and Midnight Hunt. Alright, so we're at 5 mana. Play Syr Carah. Opponent at 7 mana. Plays Uthgardt Fury, so long Syr Carah. Collective Defiance. Alright, so I think we keep Collective Defiance because it can kill Tovolar even when he's transformed, because it deals 4 damage. So I think we'll Igneous Inspiration to try and hit our land drop. And then we'll discard Insult to Injury. Draw land. There's Tovolar. Alright. So I can play Birgi. And then Collective Defiance. Although maybe we want to escalate Collective Defiance. I think we do want to play Collective Defiance to get rid of Tovolar. The only problem is they can replay Tovolar again because they've been hitting their lands pretty consistently. I could also injury Fiery Cannonade. Oh, hang on. I almost made opponent discard all the cards in their hand. Target player discards all the cards in their hand and then draws that many cards. Target creature, target opponent. Opponent holding up something at instant speed. Plays Tovolar. play Syr Carah. So we're gonna have to take a hit from Tovolar, not Syr Tovolar. Howlpack Piper. Uh-oh. Finds Tovolar's Huntmaster, which opponent can play. Alright. Well, it's daytime, but it won't be for long. And I don't really have removal for the Huntmaster. So we'll damage Howlpack Piper. Deal 2 damage to Tovolar and to the opponent. We can land. We hit the Iron Crag. But we're still taking 10 from Tovolar's Huntmaster and his wolves. Opponent hits extra land drops. So they can play Lightning Axe and not have to discard a card. They can play Seize the Spoils. They go for Lightning Axe and they discard a card. And then, yeah, they're going to get back the Howlpack Piper, with you happen on a Glade, and Seize the Spoils, discarding Thundering Rebuke. So letting it switch to night. Alright, so I have to play Syr Carah or it switches to night. Well, I was about to say that I am not dead to even if opponent attacks with everything because I can block a 2/2. But with a natural growth, we have to chump block. Still take 8. Can't take a Blast Zone. And we hit another land. I can play Syr Carah again. For what it's worth. She'll just have to chump. So we'll just let opponent finish us off here. Turns to night. Doesn't matter. Yeah, it being nighttime when they played the Howlpack Piper was also pretty bad. Because they hit the Huntmaster. didn't turn the land into a wolf, it would have been tapped anyway. Well, that was too bad. We drew a few too many lands, and we should not have let it flip to night that first time. On we go. On the draw, if opponent has creature ramp, we're set. No ramp in our opening hand, but we only have, I think, maybe 10 ramp artifacts. I can't remember off the top of my head. But we do have 3 lands, so I think we keep this. We do have to use 2 of our 3 damage spells to kill Muldrotha once opponent resolves Muldrotha. And I'm sure the game plan of their deck will be to resolve Muldrotha as fast as possible. We hit our 4th land. Blast Zone could be useful. And it's Fanatic of Ronus, which neither Stomp nor our 3 damage spells kills. So we'll play Flame Channeler. Opponent cultivates. Alright, I can tick up Blast Zone to 2, so I can destroy Fanatic of Ronus. That also destroys Flame Channeler. And I still can't activate Blast Zone until next turn, when they can replay or play Muldrotha first anyway. So I think we'll Igneous Inspiration, because that's sorcery speed, to trigger Flame Channeler, and then what to discard? I think we keep the land. And then I think we keep our 3 mana spell, so maybe it's Bone Crusher Giant. We draw Burgi. The opponent can play Muldrotha. They play Penregan Besieged and Syr Ginger. I guess they don't really have any reason to play Muldrotha since they don't have any permanents in the graveyard. Cards like Penregan Besieged are really annoying. So I don't think we play Burgi here because we want to get rid of Penregan Besieged. So I think it's more in Power Stone for ramp. No attacks. Opponent channels Takenuma. It's Demon's Disciple, which they can cast. They do not. hit a land. Alright, so it's a good thing I don't have Graveyard Recursion, because my embodiment of flame is going to be perpetually 0/0. So if I did have Graveyard Recursion, it would die the instant I replayed it. I think we play Horn of Bounty. No attacks. Opponent plays Ozolith. They could play Muldrotha. Alright, we hit a land. So I think what we do is get Blast Zone up to 2 charge counters, because that'll deal with Ozolith, Syr Ginger, and Fanatic Ronus. Now there's nothing I want to discard to Harnfell. If I play Syr Carah, they can kill her with Demon's Disciple. But importantly, if they play Muldrotha instead, they also can't replay Penregan Besieged. Yep, opponent plays Demon's Disciple. There goes Syr Carah. Put her in the command zone. We'll take 5 from Syr Ginger. Opponent has 2 mana up. Doesn't have anything else to play. My turn. Urza's Rage. We'll sacrifice Blast Zone. That kills Fanatic, Ronus, Syr Ginger, and Ozolith. And then I think We'll discard Urza's Rage to Harnfell. I'll cast Insult so it goes in the graveyard. So that was a pretty bad hit, unfortunately. Opponent plays Gitrog Monster. I could replay Syr Carah. And they will have to sacrifice a land to Gitrog Monster, which gets them further away from casting Muldrotha. They'll take 6 from the Gitrog Monster. Opponent has Unsummon. Well, we'll put Syr Carah in hand. Opponent sacrifices Swamp to the Gitrog Monster, draws a card. They hit a land. It is tapped. They eternalize Fanatic of Voronis. So the annoying thing with that is that means the Fanatic of Voronis enables its own Ferocious ability, so it can add 4 red mana. We take 6 from Gitrog. Alright. The land drop. So we have 8 mana. Let's see. I think the Fanatic of Voronis is the bigger problem right now. So let's get rid of that. Deal 2 damage to the opponent. And then I think we'll scry with Fateful End. We hit a land. I could use another land. So I don't want to activate Harnfell. Don't play as old Rutstein. Mills Braids Frightful Return. We'll go down to 8. Opponent uses their blood token to discard the Binding of the Titans. Okay. So I should probably kill the Gitrog monster. I can cast both Open Fire and Volt Charge at instant speed. That costs 6 mana, so probably don't want to use Harnfell. And then I think we should probably do this now. Our opponent's mostly tapped out before they draw extra cards off the Gitrog monster. And then we'll have to find a way of dealing with Old Rutstein and possibly Muldrotha if they play Muldrotha this turn. Opponent plays Kalitas. And Llanowar Elves. We take one from Old Rutstein. Alright, Sarkhan's Dragonfire. With 9 mana. I can kill either Old Rutstein and Llanowar Elves or Kalitas and Llanowar Elves. So let's kill Kalitas since he deals more damage and has lifelink. Opponent has Mana Drain. Well, that got us. On to the next one. Right, on the play, we've got End the Festivities, Torbran, which goes great with End the Festivities, and Magic Missile for that matter, since Magic Missile does 6 damage, 2 damage apiece per target. And we have some ramp with Guardian Idol. So we can play Torbran on 3. So I think we keep this. And then black-red, the creatures, Judith, that creatures are likely to be a bit smaller. So our burn spells are likely to be better. And they'll definitely be better if Torbran sticks around. Mountain with Mountain. No turn 1 play. Ruby Medallion. So either Guardian Idol or Ruby Medallion are fine. I guess we'll play Ruby Medallion here. One plays a tap land. No play. We draw Brimstone Volley. Wouldn't mind a land. We'll play Torbran. Opponent plays another tap land. Plays Bran. Alright. Kind of would prefer to have drawn a land. A little bit overkill. I think we Fateful End Bran and attack with Torbran. So we get our Scry. Try and look for our 4th land. That's not a land, so we'll ship it to the bottom. Opponent takes 4. Opponent hits their 4th land. Has removal for Torbran, sadly. So we didn't draw a land. Opponent ramps with Arcane Signet. Alright, so there's our land. There's not really much point in casting any of our instants or sorceries. So I could just play Syr Carah. We'll see if she sticks, because opponent's got 4 mana and 4 cards in hand. Well, they have something they can do at instant speed, but it's not creature removal. They might still have creature removal. Opponent does not do whatever it was they had priority for. Nope, they've got Brimstone Volley. Plays Careless Celebrant. Alright, would have preferred to hit a land there. I could end the festivities or shock the Celebrant and attack with Guardian Idol. I don't know how good end the festivities is going to be. Shock kills Judith. So I think we'll end the festivities. And attack with Guardian Idol. And still hold up Shock. Alright, Phyrexian Gargantua. Alright, we hit our land. I would like to play Syr Carah, but it would be a definite pain if she just gets removed and I take a hit from the Gargantua. Too bad opponent doesn't have another creature that I could damage with shock so that I can deal 5 damage with Brimstone Volley. It does deal... Magic Missile is instant. Shock is a source instant. No, Magic Missile is a sorcery. I think what we'll do is we'll hold up Shock and Brimstone Volley. And if opponent, say for example, plays Judith, we can shock her and then Brimstone Volley the Gargantua. Alright, we can also shock the Dreadhorde Butcher. Guildsworn Prowler. I'm surprised the opponent hasn't played Judith. Alright, we take one from the Butcher. And now Morbid's enabled on Brimstone Volley. Alright, opponent has Deadly Dispute. It's their land drop. Ranger's Firebrand. Alright, so I think we'll play Syr Carah here. If they remove Syr Carah, I'm only taking one from Guildsworn Prowler, unless they finally play Judith. But even taking 2 isn't that bad. If I'd drawn one more land somewhere along the way, I would have been able to play Syr Carah and kill the Guildsworn Prowler with Ranger's Firebrand. I could also kill Guildsworn Prowler with a Firebrand and attack with Idol. But I think it's more mana efficient to play Syr Carah. The opponent doesn't have instant speed removal for 3 for Syr Carah at any rate. Opponent ramps with Guardian Idol. Sacrifices the treasure. Plays Hangerback Walker for 3. We take one from Guildsworn Prowler. Alright, we hit a land. So if we activate Guardian Idol, we'll have 4 mana left. So I could Sarkhan's Dragonfire, Hangerback Walker. I guess there's not much point in activating Guardian Idol because they'll just have a bunch of Thopters that can block. So I think what we'll do instead is Dragonfire Hangerback Walker. We find Urza's Rage. Kill the Thopters with Magic Missile. Attack with Syr Carah. Exile land. We've already played land for turn. And then they probably just kill Guildsworn Prowler here. They'll draw a card, which is a bit annoying, but I don't think there's that much we can do about it. And we've got Urza's Rage. We're 3 mana away from kicking it. Opponent hits their land. Plays Reassembling Skeleton. And they activate their Guardian Idol. And play Judith so they can hit us for 3. Alright, so I think we play Burgi, kill Judith with Urza's Rage, or maybe play Burgi, ping opponent with Syr Carah, see what we hit off her. Hit Prismatic Vista. Now this is at instant speed. So what I could do is hold up Urza's Rage for Judith. And then if they activate Guardian Idol and attack with it, I could kill Judith. So Nightclubber. They've blitzed it. Alright, Judith down. It targets Syr Carah with Judith's ability. The creatures get -1/-1. Reassembling skeleton attacks. Okay, they activate Guardian Idol, but it's too late for it to attack. And that's enough for opponent. I guess they must have made a misplay there that they didn't like. Well, we'll take it. On we go. On the draw, Ishin could be a problem. We do have some ramp, and then if they're playing a lot of smaller creatures, we can get them with Cinderclasm, and we have Melt Through for an early creature. So I think we'll keep this. And then we'll play Mountain on 1, Mines of Moria on 2. Draw Worn Power Stone. We hold up Melt Through, opponent leaves with Plains. Opponent plays a second Plains. Has no turn 2 play. Draw Insult to Injury, Ash Party Crasher. They don't enable Celebration. And removal for Ash is enough for opponent. Well, I'll take the easy wins when I can get them. On we go. Okay, on the play, Skitterix the Blight Dragon. These usually tend to be pretty controlling and they don't play many creatures other than their commander. So Tectonic Hazard into the fire might not be very good. I do have Ramp with File of Galadriel and Worn Power Stone. Syr Carah also not likely to stick around. His opponent will probably be playing lots of removal. But if we empty our hand, we'll draw extra cards with File of Galadriel, and with our ramp, we might be able to replay Syr Carah enough times that opponent runs out of removal for her. So we'll try it. And it's possible opponent is playing more of a poison aggro strategy, in which case Tectonic Hazard and Into the Fire are better. There's Flame Channeler. Not expecting it to survive very long. They don't have any way of transforming it. I could play Tectonic Hazard next turn if it survives. So I could go File of Galadriel into Tectonic Hazard and transform Flame Channeler, assuming it survives. Opponent plays Swamp. They've got the Infernal Grasp for the Flame Channeler. Alright, so in that case, we'll play Worn Power Stone. Opponent plays Graveyard Trespasser, exiles Flame Channeler, and the Festivities. So I have to discard a card to target the Graveyard Trespasser. So I would have to play, I guess, Into the Fire, Tectonic Hazard, and I can't also play File of Galadriel, but I do really want to get File of Galadriel down. So I'll take 3 from the Trespasser, and it's important that we cast a spell. As we learned from, it's important that we cast a spell to prevent Graveyard Trespasser from flipping. Opponent hits land 4. The good thing is that we won't have many creatures to enable Graveyard Trespasser. Opponent exiles a card with Trespasser. So Into the Fire, Tectonic Hazard. On the other hand, we won't have removal for Skitherix if they hit land 5 and play Skitherix. So maybe what we do is play Syr Carah, kill Felsinger. Now, you really need to draw instant speed spells to deal with Skitherix. His opponent might wait until they can give Skitherix haste. They've got removal for Syr Carah, and they do hit their 5th land. Plays Urborg Scavengers. So they get a +1/+1 counter with the Scavengers regardless of what they exile, but it only gains abilities if it exiles creatures that have those abilities. Alright, so I don't think I can afford to take 6 here to wait for Skitherix. I could cast End the Festivities, so I draw 2 off File of Galadriel. And honestly, I'm not sure if I'll get many targets for End the Festivities, so I think we'll do that here. Opponent plays Skitherix without haste, and we draw Igneous Inspiration and Arc Lightning. So I can deal 1 to Skitherix, 2 to opponent, and then kill Skitherix with Igneous Inspiration. Unfortunately, we do have to discard a card if we want to draw a card with Learn on Igneous Inspiration, so we don't get to draw a card. Alright. So I've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. So I can play the Celestis and Syr Carah. Opponent does have 4 cards in hand, so they're likely to have instant speed removal for Syr Carah, but we don't have anything better to do with our mana, so we might as well cast her. And they've got Hero's Downfall. What we could really use is something like Den of the Bugbear. Actually, I draw 2 cards because of File of Galadriel, so I think we'll take action here. And then we'll discard Solar Transformer. Opponent hits their 6th land, and that's enough. Well, I don't know what opponent had in hand that they didn't like so much that they decided to concede, but I'm not going to complain. So that's our Syr Carah deck in action. As you can see, it does have weaknesses against larger commanders or decks playing larger creatures, because our burn spells that target any target that are not too clunky don't deal that much damage. It's usually like 3 damage is the most. There are burn spells you can play that deal 5 or 6 damage, but not necessarily to any target. And so sometimes you can only target creatures or planeswalkers with them, and we do want to try to have burn spells that deal damage to any target to maximize Syr Carah's triggered ability. But it might be worth swapping out some synergy spells for more bigger red burn spells just to help with those other matchups with bigger creatures. So that's something to think about. Anyway, that'll do it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. If you'd like to see another commander from Throne of Eldraine or a commander from another set, let me know in the comments. Let me know especially if there's a commander from Duskmourn coming out that you'd like to see. And then I'll see you next time. Please like and subscribe. Thanks again. Bye.